I want to talk to you about every podcast editing and recording software this year that you need to really consider if you want to really beef up your podcasting career. Okay. So here's a rundown I want you to really think about. When you think about podcast editing and recording software this year, you really need to understand that it's all about simplicity. It's all about user experience. Also, it's all about scalability because podcasts are the new way to kill time on the train or while you're driving, doing dishes, or taking care of anything that requires minimal mental interaction. So, in the same way that MP3 players took over in the 80s, podcasts actually have worked themselves into our daily routines. Okay, and so that's kind of cool. So, apart from being free, the podcast landscape has spread to cover just about any niche, topic, or idea. Do you want a politics podcast? Done. One where the actors in your favorite show talk about the show? They're out there. Or a podcast that talks about podcast or massage or all kinds of things, Buddhism or whatever. Okay, so it's one of those things where you have flexibility, and that flexibility really gives a lot of freedom and a lot of access to a lot of players too. But the question is, because there is so much demand, every website, TV show, and celebrity has a podcast. Even you, yes, you could start a podcast this year. All you need is what? You need a topic, you need a microphone, and you need a way to record, and you'll be on your way. So remember this trifecta. You need a topic, a very attractive topic. You need to have a microphone, and you got to have a way to record. Now, a way to record this could be very complex. You can have a complex equipment, or you can have bare bones equipment. You can worry about high-end microphones, mixers, marketing, and add money later on. Once you have an idea and a few bucks to spend on a decent microphone, all you have to do is hit record hit record and wait for the money to start rolling in. In other words, in terms of monetization. So that's kind of cool. You are able to get things done a lot faster, and you can record, edit, and master your podcast manually, or you can pay someone to do it. But before you can record, you will need something to record and edit your podcast in the first place. So that's where a DAW comes in, a digital audio workstation. Preferably, you want to have a DAW that you can actually use, and that can actually also fit within your budget. So I want to first talk to you about the podcast editing and recording software that's very easy on the wallet, right? I mean, especially if cash inflows and cash outflows are sort of critical for you, you want to think about the wallet. I mean, the budgetary aspect of things. So first of all, when you think about easy on the wallet, think about the free one, Audacity. Audacity is free. That's really cool. Okay, Audacity is a free open source DAW that you can use all the time. It works with Mac OS, Windows 10, and Linux. You can get it actually to run on Chromebooks as well by turning on Linux. And it won't win actually any beauty contest, that's for sure. But that shouldn't matter since it is completely free. And so that's really good. And you'll love the fact that in Audacity the program is very simple, but you also have a bare bones approach to the design also. And with Audacity, you can record your podcast, edit multiple tracks, use effects to clear up the audio, and actually export many different file tabs. So consider trying Audacity first and get the lay of the land, so to speak, before spending a couple of hundreds of dollars on software that is not really right for you. So best features here is free. It runs on pretty much anything with a processor. You have full recording and editing. You also have tons of online tutorials, so that's kind of cool. But the only thing is with Audacity, there is actually no multi-track recording. So then you also have the feature-rich, affordable option, Reaper. So Reaper is pretty interesting in the sense that basically it is an affordable, lightweight DAW with more robust editing software. Not software, editing features than Audacity. And the thing about Reaper is that it can load and operate quickly thanks to its efficient code, which really makes it an excellent option for older computers. So the cool thing is if you want flexibility when you actually are, let's say, implementing your podcasting career or journey for that matter, you want to consider Reaper. And Reaper can actually run from a USB drive, so that's kind of cool. It adds an extra layer of flexibility. And speaking of computers, Reaper runs on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. what you get is a DAW capable of recording, editing, and mixing for less than $100. And what's more, purchasing the current version qualifies you for weekly updates until version 7.99. And if you don't like the way it looks or behaves, you can download different skins to change their appearance and manually adjust the menus for a better user experience. So the best features with Reaper, you have fast load and operating times, UI, UX customization, great value for your money, and everything you need for on-site podcasting. And on the flip side, Reaper actually doesn't have that many online tutorials. The third player that's very, very easy on the wallet, you have a Hindenburg Pro. So Hindenburg Pro actually is great when it comes to scalable DAWs. Okay, Hindenburg is different also because it is designed for podcast, interviews, and radio. The software works on Windows and Mac OS, and its straightforward interface is very, very easy to grasp. So you're gonna love that. So best features: one-click podcast upload to SoundCloud or Libsyn, automatically as setting audio levels, voice profiler that sets equalizer on voices for a more natural sound, and you have the clipboard feature that stores interview clips for later use. Fantastic. So besides the podcast editing and recording software that's very easy on the wallet, I want to share with you those hands-off podcasting services. So here you have the personal audio engineer. You have Auphonic. So Auphonic is really good also because basically here is a service that takes your recording and gives it a total makeover. Auphonic is actually a subscription-based business, but the free version, Auphonic Access, allows you actually to upload 2 hours of audio every single month. So what you get in return is that you have a podcast file that sounds very professional, okay? And Auphonic's algorithm analyzes your podcast and levels audio, reduces noise, transcribes audio from over 80 to 90 languages, and much more. So if you are serious about your podcast quality, but you don't want to edit, this is a great choice. And regarding pricing, Auphonic S costs about $11 to $15 per month for 9 hours of processed audio. So the best features here, you have a tool that levels audio tracks so that music and voices don't cancel each other out. It transcribes audio via its speech recognition. It saves to Google Drive, Dropbox, SoundCloud, Libsyn, and others, and is relatively affordable. I mean, think about it, $11 to $15, that's really good. On the flip side, Auphonic actually has a desktop version that lacks essential features. The internet access is required because no editing on a plane or a remote location, and editing the track in the DAW is still required for trimming, removing silent moments, and audio ducking. And you also have think about Squadcast for long distance podcasting with video chat, okay? And Squadcast actually offers an all-in-one long distance podcast recording solution for multiple people. And there are many different podcast formats, but one tried and true format involves a group of people discussing a topic. And this is kind of cool. And what are the features here? Well, podcasting via video results in authentic conversations. Multi-track recording makes it a lot easier to edit a podcast. Adjusting each guest's audio levels can actually make a huge difference. Guests don't need an account. And basically, here's a player that saves you time with file management after the recording has taken place. And podcasts are backed up on the cloud, so you don't have to actually worry about the server time yourself. On the flip side, pricing starts at about $120 yearly for only 2 hours of audio recording a month. So this can be a little pricey for certain budgets. There is no automatic editing on tracks, and Squadcast doesn't record host computers audio, so guests can listen to clips or audio. Some shows play back audio clips to then discuss it. So this is a little problematic. But overall, when you think about Squadcast, this is how the program works. The host makes an account and sends the link to a maximum of 3 guests. Then the guests get on a video call. Video chat is optional, which Squadcast record as an audio file uploaded in real time to the cloud and the host local drive. When the podcast is over, Squadcast makes each person's audio track available, which you can then drop into a DAW for editing. This is much more effective than something like Google Chat or Zoom, which really relies on each user sending their audio separately at the end of a conversation or recording a session. So something to really think about. Let's talk about long distance with no recording limits. Then you have CleanFeed. Here's another play I want to share with you now. CleanFeed is actually a straightforward long distance audio recording solution that's a little priced on the higher end because the price starts about $22 to $25, sometimes $30 per month for individuals. And compared to similar services, CleanFeed charges quite a bit for its services, but there's no audio recording limits, okay? So this is kind of important. So I mean, a free service is offered, but you get about 1/8 of the features with a paid version. So, as I said, there is a free version, but its lack of multi-track recording can actually make it a challenging process to adjust levels and edit down the line. So you got to ask yourself, what's important for you? Is it actually let's say your reputation or something else? But you got to have the resources for it, though. Okay. So when you think about CleanFeed, what are the best features here? The tool works on Windows, macOS, Linux, and Android. Guests can actually join via a link. Only the host needs an account. Multi-track recording, and the tool actually adjusts levels while recording. On the flip side, recording hours are unlimited, but $22 a month is a bit steep. There's no video, and iOS users are left out. What about Zencastr? Zencastr is the best long-distance podcasting solution, okay? And so basically, when you think about Zencastr, think about a tool that actually records every guest in a separate lossless WAV track and saves the file on the host, local drive, and cloud services. Guests chat via Zencastr built-in VoIP service, so there is no need to record Skype or similar services. So this is kind of cool from a scalability point of view. Also, Zencastr has a soundboard that the host can use while recording, which means there is less editing later on. You can add intro and outro music, sound effects, and clips to the podcast while editing, and also recording, by the way. And the finished audio gets processed into a single mixed track with adjusted levels to top it off. The cool thing about Zencastr is that you have flexibility across the road, if you will, and you have unlimited guests. Finished audio automatically is processed with optimized sound levels. You have MP3 and WAV recording, up to 3 hours of recording time per session. Files are backed up to the cloud. Free version offers the users 8 hours of unedited MP3 recording for up to 2 guests. And you have a sleek web-based interface, so that's really cool. Then you also have a macOS only DAWs, okay? So almost every podcasting solution that I've shared with you in today's conversation is compatible with Windows, Linux, and macOS, except for the one that I will share with you in today's conversation, because these are software solutions specifically designed for macOS, which is really excellent if you own an Apple computer this year, okay? So here is what's available if you own an Apple computer. You have a DAW with training wheels. You have a GarageBand, okay? We have actually reviewed GarageBand on this show before. So if you own an iPhone, iPad, MacBook, or any other Apple device, you've heard of GarageBand, Apple's beginner level DAW. And these days, GarageBand is free to download. Specific instruments and other plugins are available for a fee. And so it's free to download and easy to learn. For the most part, GarageBand is actually a musician's app, but it can just be as easily record and edit audio when it comes to podcasting. A MacBook, iPhone, or iPad can become a portable podcasting studio with an external microphone. So this is an important element to think about. So it's one of those things where you have to really just be already in the Apple ecosystem, right? So if you are, let's say entirely bought into the Apple ecosystem, you can save a track on one device and continue working on it on another. Not bad for a free piece of Apple developed software, really. And so this is kind of cool. And what are the best features here? When you think about GarageBand, well, you have free and included, you have a service that's free and included with Apple devices. You have Logic remote apps that actually turn iPad into a second screen. You have a portable recording process. You also have an editing tool for on-the-go podcasting. And you can pick up where you left off on a different Apple device with iCloud backup. So that's kind of cool, especially when it comes to flexibility, okay? Now, where does this software really fall short this year? Well, editing on iPad or iPhone touchscreen can be cumbersome, especially if you're not used to it. And also, external microphones for iPad and iPhone are okay, but not awesome. Especially if you want to really bring up the quality of your podcast, let's say sound. And also, here you have a tool that's suitable for beginners but lacks advanced features such as multi-track recording for multiple guests. So something to really think about, especially if you want to scale your podcast over time. Now let me talk to you about the alternative and cheap DAW. That's Twisted Wave. I'm still talking to you about the macOS only sort of tools. Okay, so what happens here is that if you want something a little more robust in audio editing, look to Twisted Wave. If you were judging a book by its cover per se, you wouldn't pick Twisted Wave, but you would be missing out. Why? Because this tool actually records audio, which is really essential for podcasting, and it has mastering features that make it a steal at under $100. Okay, and so what you will love about this software is that it has a silence detector that automatically finds dead spots in your podcast. Though it may not look like much, Twisted Wave provides essential recording, editing, and mastering features that you're not likely to find at this price point. So best features here, you have a tool that's actually under $100. You have a silence detector. You have a tool that converts audio to almost 2,000 file types. You have fast operating times, iPad and iPhone app. Where does it fall short? Well, UI could use a facelift. Okay, it looks a little dated, small user base, not so many online tutorials, and comparable to Audacity, but it costs $80 more. You also have to think about the DIY long distance podcast solution. So here you have the ultimate podcast bundle, Rogue, Amoeba. So you have Fission, Loopback, Audio Hijack, Farrago. Okay, and if you think this title is a mouthful, wait until you see how many features you get for only $170. So while Zencastr and comparable services make it easy to record a long distance podcast, the monthly price can quickly add up when considering other costs, hosting, hardware, marketing. This bundle, however, includes 4 pieces of software that can handle every aspect of your podcasting workflow. So starting with Audio Hijack, you can record any audio coming from your computer, like say a Skype call with your guest. Loopback is useful for routing audio from your computer to your guest so they can listen to your YouTube videos, audio clips, or music, all with Audio Hijack records. Next, you have Farrago that comes actually as a live soundboard that you can load with sounds, clips, intro and outro music, and whatever else actually you can think of. Finally, you can dump all recorded audio into Fission to mix and edit the final track. So it may take actually some practice to get used to the new recording environment, but the thing is that everything comes with practice. Okay, you'll be really happy you did. Let me talk to you about the ultimate DAW for macOS audio engineers. You have Logic Pro. And when you think about Logic Pro, I want you to think about scalability, but also efficiency, okay? So the next evolution in audio production and editing comes from the makers of GarageBand, Logic Pro. So previously known as Logic Pro X. Logic Pro is actually GarageBand's big brother and FSPX cousin, okay? So it's faster, better, more robust, and much more expensive than GarageBand. So if you are used to working in GarageBand, the Logic Pro interface will be similar, and like GarageBand, Logic Pro is made by Apple for Apple. Okay, so though it's a bit of an overkill for podcast production, Logic Pro does have some robust features, even if they were meant for music production in the first place. So most people are better off using something more straightforward, but if you know your way around a mixing board, it may be actually good for you, especially when it comes to giving your podcast a lot more flexibility. So what are the best features here? You have the interface is similar to GarageBand for quick onboarding. Logic Pro Remote turns iOS devices into second screens for production and editing. And you also have professional quality mixing and mastering. So basically, if you are already comfortable with GarageBand, you are familiar with GarageBand, and you want to really bring your podcasting game to another level, then Logic Pro could be for you. Okay. On the flip side, you have a tool that's an overkill for podcast production. Most features are for music production, and you have an expensive, steep learning curve also. Okay, an expensive sort of tool. What about Adobe Audition? This is actually the popular when it comes to professional grade DAWs. Okay, so whether it's video production, photo editing, or web design, Adobe is a suite of software for creatives. It's all encompassing. You can't really escape it. The price tag of when it comes to Adobe Audition is a steep $21 per month, which means you'll pay around $250 a year to record and edit your podcast. So you might as well just have the tools and resources for it. Okay, but the thing is that you get access to Adobe's a full suite, including Photoshop, Premiere Pro, After Effects, Illustrator, and many others for about twice the money. However, you can get over the price. If you can get over the price, you'll find that Audition is a full-fledged DAW with tons of features that, while overwhelming, can improve your sound as you become more proficient. So podcasting specific features can affect your voice and sound profile as you record. So most importantly, Adobe's prominence is suitable for beginners because there are hundreds of hours of online tutorials, some of which are produced by Adobe itself. So what are the pros and cons here? Well, best features, this is part of Adobe's Creative Suite, tons of online tutorials and classes, podcast specific settings. Okay. On the flip side, this may be overwhelming for you if you're a beginner, and the monthly price is expensive. Okay, so this is one of those things where you have to really see what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and how you can actually survive in the long run. This is an important element to think about. Next, I want to talk to you about the all-in-one professional recording studio. I'm still giving you a chance to really understand that. So it's Pro Tools. So if you're looking for a podcasting, editing, and recording software tool this year, give a Pro Tools let's say a chance. Okay, Pro Tools has long been known as a top-of-the-line DAW, actually used by music producers. And Pro Tools' streamlined approach to music production, including several plugins, is why it's actually a must-have for music producers and audio engineers. For example, when you listen to a podcast interview with a music artist you like, they most likely use a Pro Tools in some shape or form. But there is a catch. The base software starts at about $30 a month, and at that price, many of the features are meant for music production, so you'll be paying for a lot of things you probably won't use. There is a free version with many of the essential features needed for podcast production, but not all. So you have to really think about your ROI here, your return on investment. If you decide a few months into your podcast that you need those gated features, you always have the option of upgrading. If anything, the free version can be an indefinite trial or your permanent DAW. So what are the best features here? Well, the free version comes with 23 plugins, 115 plugins for paid versions, and Avid actually provides free tutorials to get users up to speed. That's kind of cool. And the free version is good enough for podcast production. On the flip side, you have a steep monthly price, and this is not for beginners. You also have the $200 professional option, FL Studio 20. So FL Studio is another professional DAW used by many music producers, and is well known in the industry. Pricing on this product is a little tricky, but the silver lining is that there is no monthly payment plan. In other words, you will not be borrowing this software indefinitely. The fruity version of FL Studio is the most basic edition, and if you are using it for podcasting, it's unusable due to the lack of one crucial feature, audio recording. And since the $99 fruity version won't do, you will have to purchase the $199 producer version if you are seriously thinking of using FL Studio for podcasting. But remember, I actually wouldn't recommend just jumping into a program like this. It's actually best to ease your way into the field of audio production before diving into something as complex as this, especially if you are thinking about getting things done a lot faster. Okay, so when it comes to the best DAW you'll be using, everything depends on the kind of setup you have in the first place. You got to really ask yourself, do you want to outsource the things to third parties, or you want to do things yourself? Because once you settle on a DAW, you may want to consider using a collaboration platform if you work in a team. You can find several solid audio collaboration platforms available for a small monthly fee. It's one of those things where you can say, you know what, I really want to focus on doing my podcast, and I want to really outsource the rest of the tasks to a third party. This could be a pretty smart move, by the way. So here's a recap to today's conversation. I spoke to you about by every podcast editing and recording software. I give you the rundown. I spoke about those software tools that are easy on the wallet, those that really give you a hands-off podcasting service, and also the Mac OS only DAWs. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.